Texas moves towards independence. On January 26th, Texas State Representative Kyle Biedermann filed a bill that would allow Texas residents to vote to secede from the United States. Biedermann's bill, known as House Bill 1359 or the Texas Independence Referendum Act, would allow citizens to vote on whether the Texas legislature should create a temporary joint commission to develop a plan of independence for the state. In a press release for the Gateway Pundit, Texas Nationalist Movement President Daniel Miller said the people of Texas are tired of living under 180,000 pages of federal law administered by 2.5 million unelected bureaucrats. He believes that the best people to govern Texas are Texans themselves. Biedermann said in a statement, "This act simply lets Texans vote. This decision is too big to be monopolized solely by the power brokers in our capital. We need to let Texans' voices be heard." He then proceeded to say, "Our federal government continuously fails our working families, seniors, taxpayers, veterans, and small business owners. For decades, the promises of America and our individual liberties have been eroding. It is now time that the people of Texas are allowed the right to decide their own future. This is not a left or right political issue. Let Texans vote."
Victory! Texas won first lawsuit against Biden admin. On January the 26th, U.S. District Judge Drew Tipton issued a temporary restraining order blocking Biden's policy nationwide for 14 days. This is after Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton challenged it in court. Victory! Texas is the first state in the nation to bring a lawsuit against the Biden admin, and we won, wrote Paxton in a statement on Twitter. Within 6 days of Biden's inauguration, Texas has halted his illegal deportation freeze. This was a seditious left-wing insurrection. The Republican continued, and my team and I stopped it. The federal court order is a setback to the Biden administration. On day one, Biden signed an executive order hours after his inauguration that terminated the emergency declaration on the southern border and put an immediate halt on border wall construction. On January 21st, the second day following executive orders, the Department of Homeland Security, the DHS, issued a memorandum to suspend deportations of illegal aliens for 100 days. On January 22nd, the state of Texas sued the Biden administration over the DHS memo, suspending the deportations of illegal aliens. Attorney General Paxton asks the federal court to declare the memo unlawful and to block the defendants from executing the order. On its first day in office, the Biden administration cast aside congressionally enacted immigration laws and suspended the removal of illegal aliens whose removal is compelled by those very laws. The lawsuit states, in doing so, it ignored basic constitutional principles and violated its written pledge to work cooperatively with the state of Texas to address shared immigration enforcement concerns. This unlawful reversal will cause Texas immediate and irreparable harm if it is not enjoined. Like Paxton, several former Trump DHS officials expressed alarm in recent days over Biden's orders to rescind some immigration rules.
If you're going to reward people who broke the law in front of everybody else who respected it, it sends a bad signal.
With the stroke of a pen, President Biden made this country less safe. Former U.S. Customs and Border Protection Commissioner Mark Morgan told Breitbart News on January 23rd, "It's pure politics over public safety."
Hawley, CCP social credit system infiltrating America. U.S. Senator Josh Hawley warned in a January 24th article in the New York Post that a communist China-style social credit rating system is being imported into the U.S. in the form of cancel culture. Hawley said, "Everyone knows what a credit score is, but social credit scores are new. They're the latest corporate import from communist China, where government and big business monitor every citizen's social views and statements. In communist China, social credit scores can be used to punish people the CCP does not like, such as those who support Falun Gong, Uyghurs, or Tibetans, those who criticize the government, and so on. Punishments may include bans from traveling abroad, using public transportation, booking hotel rooms, being employed in certain positions, or result in being blacklisted." Hawley believes that in the US, cancel culture is the latest form of a social credit system.
Basically saying is, listen, if you don't hold the right opinions, then you're not going to be able to be on social media. You're not going to be able to get a job, maybe. You're not going to be able to communicate. If you have a small business, you're going to get boycotted. It is an unbelievable attempt by big business, big tech, and the left to try to censor all dissent, to try to shut down all opposition, to try to silence half of America. And while the Democrats talk about unity in Washington, they don't want unity. What they want is total control. And these big corporations are right there with them trying to achieve it.
In recent weeks, Hawley and Texas Republican Senator Cruz have come under fire for picking apart the election results at a joint session of Congress on January 6th. Some Democrats claim the two helped incite the violence that occurred at the U.S. Capitol that day. A publisher canceled Hawley's upcoming book, while one of his campaign fundraisers was also canceled by a hotel chain. There were also calls for Hawley's resignation. Hawley believes it's time for those who hold the First Amendment dear to their hearts to take a stand. He said, "We need to stand up for the basic principles that join all Americans together: the right to speak freely, to debate openly, and to address our differences graciously without fear of being silenced or punished for dissenting views."
We've got to stand up and say no to the mob, because if we don't, then conservatives all across this country will be unable to speak, they'll be unable to do business, they'll be unable to be heard. And we've got to stand up right now and say enough is enough. We will not be intimidated.
China's cases from imported goods? Doctor, never happened. The latest round of the COVID-19 outbreak is spreading rapidly in China, with cases popping up in more than 20 provinces. Chinese authorities' media continues to tell people that imported foods were testing positive, thus meaning the new cases were due to imported food infection. The list of infected goods includes salmon from Norway, pig's feet from Germany, shrimp from South America, and frozen pork from Argentina. Recently, this list has continued to grow longer. However, on January 23rd, Zhang Wenhong spoke on China's state media CCTV's news investigation program in Shanghai and said there was never a case of infection from imported frozen food. He further said, "So far, China has consumed immense quantities of imported seafood and imported countless other goods as well. The probability of infection from these imported goods is lower than that of a plane crash."